Hey everyone, a lot of you will know that we have a site full of team comps, but we also do these expert video guides to take it one step further, and we're going to start releasing one every week, starting with our 6 keepers. We've also just released our brand new TFT profile, so you can go and check out stuff like your favorite items, your favorite chosen, your best team comps, and a bunch of other stats with your match history. The link for that and to find your own profile will be down below. So this comp is all about using keeper synergy to overpower the enemy with shields. Kennen's going to be your main mid-game carry, but then Xayah acts as the late-game carry to place attack damage items onto. So you want to go for this comp if you're able to find that chosen keeper. The items are extremely flexible, they're not going to be as contested either, so that shouldn't really be a problem. The main strength of this team, though, is the early and the mid-game power. The Keeper Shield can overpower enemies who are still building towards their perfect team or perfect items, and that can put you in a really healthy position in the late game. The main weakness of the comp, though, is after that, you're going to get outscaled. The comp does very well early and mid-game, but it can fall to many other late-game teams when others complete their full team. This means that just finishing the team isn't really going to be enough. You're going to have to add in more 5-cost carries or 3-star units.
Lame.
So your basic level 8 team is going to be Xayah, Kennen, Azir, Ornn, Aatrox, Sejuani, Jarvan, and Rakan. Now your best chance to win with this comp is to try and win streak early in mid-game with the Keeper synergy, and even if you don't maintain a perfect win streak, you should be able to comfortably hit late game level 8ish with high health and a strong economy. After that point, you should then try to 3-star a carry like your Kennen or your Xayah, or replace some of your keepers with 5-star units like Samira, Sett, Yone, stuff like that. So as an example then, if you're reaching the late game and enemy comps have too much damage, you should then look for other carries to replace your Kennen and your Jarvan. This can be something like Samira, Kayle, Yone, Sett, whatever your items fit best. So Chosen Keeper is required for this comp to work, but you can branch out into other synergies late game. If you think 6 keepers are going to fall off eventually, then you can actually sell your Chosen Keeper late game to add in another carry like Kayle. This can also be done to try and find a very strong Chosen at level 9 for a 5-cost unit, something even like a Samira. For our core items, we're looking for Guardian Angel, Morellonomicon, and Jeweled Gauntlet onto Kennen. For Xayah, we want a Hand of Justice, another Hand of Justice if we can, and a Jeweled Gauntlet. So your first priority for the comp is to try and build the core items for Kennen. Xayah is extremely flexible when it comes to what she can use, so having your 2 core on Kennen is going to be the main priority. After getting those 2 then, you can start to build your items for Xayah. Hand of Justice is going to be one of the best because it lets her ult faster and either do more damage or also heal her. After you have 2 items on each, you can then build your Jeweled Gauntlet for either Kennen or for Xayah. You kind of want to prioritize the Kennen if you think you'll be able to 3-star him, but if not, you can choose to build it on your Xayah. As we mentioned, Xayah can use a ton of different stuff, so just go ahead and build whatever strong items you can on her. Deathblade is good, Runins, Infinity Edge, either of these can work. Finally then, on our non-carry unit, Sunfire Cape is an amazing item to build early, and then you can try and win streak with it. But Rakan does a really good job of spreading the burn to enemy backline units when he uses his ult, and the item will further help your comp be powerful early and mid-game. If you aren't able to 3-star your Kennen and you do decide to set it later for another carry, you can place this Morello onto Sejuani instead. The item is really important for damage in this comp anyway because it mainly stalls enemies out with shields rather than investing into damage outside of Xayah. Lastly, you've got your buffing items, which are really good to buff up your Xayah, and these items are stronger on Azir than Rakan. In the general positioning, Rakan has the best position to hold items to buff up Xayah, but you can still place the items onto Azir, you'll just have to move some units around. Now let's go stage by stage and break down the strategy of the comp. So the general idea is your win streaking and default leveling. That means you level up early game to try and start a win streak in stage 2. You can choose not to level and lose streak if you want to, but you really do need to be aggressive and try to get a 2 or 3 cost chosen keeper. The earlier you level, the higher chance you have of finding that 2 or 3 cost chosen basically. Keepers, cultists, and sharpshooters make up for a very strong transition into the mid-game team. During stage 3 then, you level up to 6 at 3-2 and you build the strongest board you can with the units that you find. Continue picking up stronger keepers, sharpshooters, and cultists. When we get to stage 4, you level up to 7 at 4-1. If you need to stabilize, you should roll down a little bit in order to find and build a stronger team. If you are healthy though, or you're strong enough to hold off, wait until level 8 and then roll. So that point would be in stage 5, you level up to 8 at 5-1, you roll down to complete your team, but if you can build your gold back up to 50, you can then slowly roll for the Kennen 3-star. If you don't think you're going to find that Kennen, that's fine, save up for level 9 and add in more strong units like 5 costs. So the main point of this positioning is to group the team around the keepers. That will provide your entire team with a massive shield, and that's kind of the point of the comp. It can be a little bit difficult to avoid things like Zephyr or Shroud of Stillness as you want to keep your team group together, so late game we may need to split them up a little. If you want to place buffing items on Azir, just swap him with Rakan to buff up Desire. This is also a pretty simple example of an early game team comp that you'll most likely be using Keepers and Cultists together. So that will give you everything you need to know to win with our 6 Keepers comp, and remember you can follow along with this guide in game with our TFT overlay, so make sure you download that and bring it with you into your next game.